Give us your sense right now of where we are. We have a sense that there's some narrowing the gap, but there's still a ways to go.
Long ways to go. We don't even have a top agreement on the top figure, which is Pelosi 6 weeks ago was at $3.5 trillion, I believe. We tabled a bill 10 days ago at $1 trillion. There's got to be some agreement on what we're going to spend before you get into some details, although they're going through the details now. So all this stuff's going on at one time. The last time I had a report on how Mnuchin and Meadows were making out with Schumer and Pelosi was late yesterday afternoon. And I presume they're reconvened today, and I'll get a report about 1 o'clock again. And by the way, you say I'm involved in it. Yes, I'm involved in it, but there's only those 4 people that are at the table. So we'll get a report. Maybe after 2 o'clock I could tell people more, but right now I think the big holdup is the $600 versus the $200 that we have in our bill for the federal enhancement of state unemployment compensation. But I think as far as I'm concerned, Democrats need to start compromising. And as of yesterday, they hadn't moved off of that $3 trillion figure. And then they keep saying that Republicans aren't compromising. We've got something out there, and we're trying to talk to them. Compromise isn't one-sided. We're working for the American people. We got to deliver.
So, Senator, one of the many reasons we love having you on is you've been through a fair number of these before, of different sorts. Is this sort of just the standard par for the course in Washington? You take it down to the last second and then there's a deal made? Or do you have a sense this really may be in trouble? Because I think the markets are really assuming there will be a deal at some number within the next, say, week or two.
I think there will be, but what I don't know is whether or not in the back of the minds of Schumer and Pelosi that if they can get away with doing nothing, will Republicans get blamed for it? If they were certain Republicans were going to get blamed for it, then I don't know whether we'd get a deal, because they want to use all this time and this issue to win the presidency. That's the big game. And of course, what we're trying to do now as Republicans is what we did in March when we passed the first CARES Act. You can call it stimulus, whatever you want to call it. We did it unanimously. Can you believe that? If there was 100 people here, it was 100-0. There wasn't anybody against it. And why can't we do that again now? It's the same people hurting. It's the same economy that the government shut down for the first time in the 240-year history of our country. It's our responsibility to open it up. We had unanimous consent to do that, unanimous consent to fight the virus with the same bill, unanimous consent to help the people who are hurting because they're unemployed because of what the government done. And and it's just taking a little bit longer than we're planning. And so this is what this debate is all about now. Why can't it be done unanimously?